Is Uber customer support revealing your personal information on Twitter? But before we begin talking about this topic, here's a word from our sponsors.
And today's video is sponsored by Mailpranks. Mailpranks is the absolutely hilarious store where you can find all of your prank needs. Their signature items are the prank postcards, which include President Obama fan clubs, thank you for joining the Donald Trump fan club, and little inappropriate gags like this item, which I happen to like, but I don't think I can actually say what it is because I don't want them to be demonetized. Mailpranks accepts all different kinds of currency and also offers free shipping worldwide. Use the code in the description below to save 20% off your first order.
Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and a buddy of mine, Joe, who's otherwise known as Dark Road Run, discovered something a little unusual on Twitter a few days ago. He discovered that under the Uber support Twitter handle, people's personal information was on the Twitter feed. And we're not talking about like a little bit of information. We're talking about a lot of information. We're talking about dozens and dozens and dozens of accounts. Now we're going to look at this screenshot of the Twitter feed, and I'm using a screenshot instead of a live thing because I don't want to inadvertently dox anyone. But as you can see, there are tons of tweets from Uber support. Many of them allude to problems that they are in fact fixing. They have even replied directly to some people by name. And if you click those links, you will find people's names, their telephone numbers. Sometimes you will find their license plate numbers, and it's all there for people to read. Now, I will say up front, one of the things that Dark Road Run said that I don't think is entirely accurate, with all due respect, I love the guy, is that Uber does not appear to be leaking this information personally. Instead, what is happening is that the Uber Twitter support is there for people to reach out to Uber when they are having a problem. So what people do is they write down their information, they tag Uber support in their tweet, and they send it off. Some of them might not even realize that sending a tweet out to Uber support is different than sending them a private message. If you send them a private message, only the people at Uber support will read it. But if you send out a tweet, the general public will read it. I don't believe Uber is leaking this information. I believe people are giving it up willingly and sharing it basically to get Uber's attention. Where I think Uber might be a little in the wrong in this situation, though, is that apparently this has been going on for a long time. I scrolled down by several months to see how long this has been going on, and sure enough, this method of them reaching out to Uber has been going on for more than 8 months. And in all the cases, as far back as I went, I could find personal information from drivers, and in some cases even passengers, like way buried down, and the information is still there. Uber clearly needs to do something, and here's what they need to do. I know they can't stop people from sharing personal information on the internet. That is entirely up to you. If you send a tweet out with your phone, your address, your license plate number, your age, your name, that is entirely on you. But one thing that Uber is not doing is informing people that this might not be the best way to get a hold of them. They should find a way to communicate to people that if they want their attention, tag them in a post without their personal information, and arrange for a direct message form of communication to be opened so that we can handle the situation privately and without random strangers being able to find your personal information. Instead, Uber simply responds to the person who is asking the question, and in some cases, multiple comments are made where the problem is worked out in great detail. Now, what Uber is doing to solve the person's problem may not necessarily be a danger to the driver or the passenger, but on the other hand, you never know. Again, sensitive information is being displayed, and it's being displayed very publicly, and I'm surprised that a company that is worth almost $120 billion does not seem to realize this is an issue. At the very least, if someone tweets to Uber support with their personal information, Uber support's first response should be, hey, we appreciate you reaching out, but here's what we recommend. Delete this information now. It's not private. We have followed you and we will be sending you a private message. Share that information with us there. Otherwise, strangers will be able to look at your information and who knows what with it. In fact, a particular way that this can be used against the Uber drivers and the passengers is the very famous Uber payment scam. We've talked about it at least once a year ever since I've started doing this channel, where someone calls an Uber driver and say, hey, we have an additional payment for you, but we don't have your login information. This is Uber, by the way. And the person naively gives the login information over the phone. The person logs into that driver's account, puts their bank account information in the app, and steals the money. That is one way that personal information can be used against Uber drivers, and it's a very, very popular scam, especially since a lot of Uber drivers, even to this day, don't seem to realize it is a scam. And while we're on the subject, there's something a little sad about a company that uses Twitter as a way to deal with some customer service. Now, granted, I have reached out to other companies through Twitter, and the sad reality is sometimes it is a lot faster to get a response from Twitter than it is through an email. In fact, every time I have a situation with Cinemia, I tweet at them rather than send them an email at their customer support, because the Twitter users, for some reason, are just better at responding to me and sometimes getting the problem solved. But never have I revealed my account information on Twitter for the whole world to see. I've always arranged for it to be a private direct message thing. And again, this is your problem. This is on you. You cannot be personally giving out your information on the internet. That is not Uber's fault. Where Uber is failing in this situation is that it is a problem that has persisted for who knows how long, and they haven't done anything to address it. Maybe at the very least, they should put in the Twitter description who they are and then state, notice, any tweets you send us is public. Please do not tweet any personal information. Tweet to us about having a problem needing to be solved, and we will send you a direct message on how the situation can be resolved in a timely manner. I think Uber should be a little bit more proactive, seeing that the people tweeting to them are desperate enough to tweet them this information and don't seem to realize the danger they're putting themselves in. And when Uber doesn't take the time to correct them and instead continues to converse with them as if this is like an over-the-phone conversation that no one's listening in on, I think it creates more problems in the long run for either the rider or the driver, whoever is contacting them. This is really bad for them. Again, though, this is Twitter, and it's kind of common knowledge that tweets are, not private. So whoever's raising their kids or telling people about Twitter and reaching out to people on Twitter, they should probably also add, by the way, don't tweet any personal information. If you need to contact a customer service account, just tweet to them and say you need help, and they will tell you what they need to help you and where to send that information. But hey, that's just my personal information. What says you? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with Dark Road Run? I'd like to thank Dark Road Run again for pointing this out. And I waited a couple days before talking about it, but I have to talk about it now. But thank you nonetheless for sharing this information. It is definitely something that did need to be brought to everyone's attention. But for everyone else, what do you think about this information? What's your thoughts about it? Is it the people's responsibility to monitor their own information? Or do you think Uber should be taking a more proactive stance in telling people that this information is not private, it is very public, and it can and will be used against you if you are not careful? I would love to know your thoughts. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And you get access to my exclusive Patrons only blog. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.